The remaining 5 members of the Bali Nine involved in a botched drug smuggling operation are waking up on Australian soil, back home after almost 20 years in prison. The group are now understood to be getting checked over at Howard Springs, south of Darwin. We have team coverage this morning. First to Nine's federal politics reporter Claudia Vajoljak in Canberra for us. Claudia, good morning. It was a delicate mission. How did it unfold?
It sure was, Sam. The race to bring these men home has been a highly sensitive and secret operation, and now, for the first time in 19 years, they are waking up this morning free men. Matthew Norman, Michael Shugai, Scott Rush, Martin Stevens and Si Chen were accompanied back to Australia by government officials on a Jetstar flight yesterday. It's a high-profile case that dates back to 2005. They were among 9 young Australians caught trying to smuggle more than 8 kilograms of heroin out of Bali with $4 million worth of drugs strapped to their chests. The 2 ringleaders, Andrew Chan and Myron Sukumaran, were sentenced to death. For years now, successive Australian leaders have fought for their release, but this deal would not have been done without the cooperation of Indonesia's new president, Prabowo Subianto. He met with Prime Minister Anthony Albanese in Peru last month to raise the issue, and after careful negotiations, the transfer was agreed to on humanitarian grounds, the PM issuing this statement acknowledging Indonesia's sovereignty and legal processes.
I'm pleased to confirm that Australian citizens Matthew Norman, Scott Rush, Martin Stevens, Si Chen and Michael Shugai have returned home to Australia. I have conveyed my personal appreciation to President Prabowo for his act of compassion.
In a statement issued on behalf of the 5 men and their families, they are said to be relieved and happy to be back. Now, as part of the deal, they have vowed to continue rehabilitation back home, no longer serving life sentences. But Sam, there's still a long road ahead.
It sure is. It's been quite a mission. Thanks, Claudia. Let's bring in Nine's Lily Wyatt in Howard Springs. Lily, they're expected to be there for the coming days.
We're here at the once Howard Springs quarantine facility. It's about a 20-minute drive south of Darwin CBD, and it's now the temporary home of the remaining Bali Nine. The last 5 flying in yesterday on a commercial flight, and now this morning they'll be waking up for the first time here on Australian soil. This is where we saw many Australians quarantined during the COVID-19 lockdowns. It's also been used to house Olympians and flood victims before being taken over by the defence last year. It's here where they are likely to undergo medical testing and treatments before they are released and can return home in the coming days. Sam?
Okay, thanks, Lily.
Now to a Today weather alert, and Victoria is on edge this morning for one of the most dangerous weather days in years as temperatures soar into the high 40s. Live to Lana Murphy in Melbourne. Lana, it's going to be a tough day for authorities.
It absolutely is. The Chief Fire Officer has declared parts of Victoria are ready to burn, and combined with today's forecast of hot, dry and windy weather, that could be a disaster. Now, here in Melbourne, we are expected to reach a top of 41 degrees. That would be the hottest day, December day rather, we've seen in 5 years. But other parts of the state, well, they are expected to hit 46 degrees. That will be in Mildura and in Swan Hill. There will be a total fire ban in most parts of Victoria, and in the Central and Western districts, there is an extreme fire danger rating. The Chief Fire Officer told me yesterday, though, that in the southwest of the state, parts like Lake Bolac and in Winchelsea, they are anticipating that will hit catastrophic levels. Now, they say they are prepared for anything. The large air tanker in Australia's firefighting arsenal was flown into Albury Airport and is on standby, ready to go today. There's also 54 other aircraft that are ready to fight any fires. The aim is to fight them quickly and keep the fires small. The advice, of course, if you are in the regions, is to have your bushfire action plan ready. And of course, in the city, to use your common sense if there is a grass fire to say 2 streets away, and to stay indoors, check on your elderly neighbours, animals and children, and to drink plenty of water.
A big day ahead in Melbourne. Lana, thank you. More severe wet weather is on the way for Queensland's southeast after the weekend's soaking. Heavy rain is expected today and to stick around for the week, with some areas expecting up to 100 millimetres of rain. Residents in areas known for flash flooding are being told to be on high alert. Over the next 3 months, there are fears there will be a repeat of the 2022 Brisbane floods that swept through the region, with above average rainfall predicted. Several tourists, including 4 Australian women, are right now in a critical condition after suspected alcohol poisoning in Fiji. Live to Today correspondent Lara Vella. Lara, they fell ill after drinking at a resort bar.
Oh, isn't this incident deeply concerning, especially given the fact that so many Australians travel to Fiji at this time of year? And of course, you need to put into perspective that just a few weeks ago, 6 tourists, including 2 young Australian women, tragically died as a result of methanol-spiked drinks. That incident, of course, happened in Laos. This latest incident, though, is happening in Fiji. What we know is that it took place on Saturday night. We understand a group of 7 tourists. There are reports that at least 4 of them are Australian, consumed an alcoholic cocktail at the Warwick Resort on the Coral Coast in Fiji. All of them presented with symptoms in alignment, I should say, with methanol poisoning, so vomiting, nausea, and as a result, they were all transported to hospital. We understand this morning, Isa, that some of the most seriously ill this morning are a 19-year-old Australian woman alongside a 56-year-old Australian woman, and the ages of those who have fallen ill are between 18 years young and also 56 years old. As you would expect right now, Isa, there is a local police investigation underway. Samples have been taken from the hotel, and it is also understood that a large wedding is being held at that venue in Fiji this morning. In the meantime, the advice for Australian travellers has also been updated on the Smart Traveller website, essentially warning of the dangers of alcohol-related methanol-spiked drinks in Fiji. Isa?
Lara, it is a terrifying situation. Thank you. Life-saving pneumococcal vaccines remain tied up in red tape, with families urging for access to them as the country experiences the worst outbreak in 20 years. More than 2,200 cases have been recorded in Australia this year, which can lead to the cause of death for children. Numbers are expected to reach the highest annual rate by the end of the year. A 41-year-old man has allegedly led police on a dangerous pursuit in Sydney's southwest, the driver clocking high speeds from Riverwood to Roselands, where the pursuit came to an end after the driver smashed into a parked paint van, suffering a serious leg injury. The alleged male driver was arrested and charged with failing to stop and driving on a suspended learner's licence. He was granted bail and will appear in court next month. An alleged knife-wielding man is in custody this morning, accused of prompting the evacuation of a busy supermarket north of Adelaide. Customers ditching their groceries as they ran to the car park for safety.
Whilst this incident would have been alarming for people who may have seen the male, I'd like to reassure the public that no person was injured during this incident.
Bottom line is it's scary and, there's a lot of fear around that.
Officers say when they arrived at the Gawler Woolworths, the 50-year-old man was lying on the floor with a knife. He was taken to hospital for assessment and will likely be charged later today.